fellows, how you doing? It's Rami, and I'm gonna just keep my voice a bit low because someone's sleeping in the room, so I shouldn't disturb the person by just raising my voice. So in this video I'm gonna talk about determination to overcome social anxiety. So speaking from my own personal experience, when I was younger, when I had bad social anxiety, I had it really severely, the point where it crippled me, as I've always said before. I had bad social anxiety and I was so determined to overcome it. Without determination you can't overcome it. Whatever you want to achieve in life, you've got to be determined to achieve it. Whatever feeling you've got or whatever emotions you're going through, if you're not determined to make it through and to get past all of the horrible things that's going on in your life, you're never gonna get anywhere in life. So determination is what makes you go forward, it's what makes you improve, it's what makes you just hungry and striving for development, for personal development, for improving yourself spiritually, improving yourself psychologically, improving yourself on many different levels. Let me just get the camera. So I was very determined to get rid of this mental illness, which is social anxiety and severe shyness. And it's really a mental illness, and this is not an exaggeration, it was a mental illness for me. I wanted to completely eradicate it, to get rid of it, but I haven't yet managed to do that. But I managed to massively reduce it to the point where it doesn't affect me normal, as opposed to how it used to be, because it used to affect me in many levels. It ruined all my relationships with people, it ruined my relationships with my friends, and it was quite noticeable on me. People would notice it straight away. People would notice it straight away as soon as they meet me. So they would see me and they would quite frankly, they would spot that there's something doesn't feel right with me. They would spot it straight away, that something is not right, that there must be something wrong with me. And I felt so ashamed and embarrassed of the fact that people could see it on me. People could see it. I couldn't hide it, no matter how hard I tried. I tried so hard to hide it on many occasions, but it just didn't work out. I tried too hard to hide my anxiety from people. I tried to, as much as I could, to pretend that I had no social anxiety, but it was all in vain. All the pretentious mask wearing, it was all in vain. No matter how hard I tried to hide it, it was always rising to the surface and people could see it easily. And when people looked at me, I thought they were staring into the depths of my soul. They know everything, single thing I've done. They know that I've been a bad person at some stage of my life. They know that I lied, I cheated, I did lots of bad things. Every time people just stare at me, I thought they were looking at the depths of my soul. That's how paranoid my psychology was. That's how my mentality was at the time. Because it was all unconscious. I carried out lots of unconscious behaviors, as I always talk about. So it ruined every single area of my life, my social life, my emotional life, getting a girlfriend, falling in love, all these different things got obliterated, literally obliterated, by this horrible, horrific mental illness, which is social anxiety. But the good thing is I was so determined to overcome it, and I was also so desperate to get past it and just to get over it and to reduce it and not let it affect me normal. I was absolutely determined and desperate to do that. And my determination is what kept me going forward, it is what kept me improving, is what gave me the drive, the hunger to keep going and to disprove all these kind of fears and insecurities wrong. And I had lots of other fears and insecurities. I had the fear of not being able to make money, not being able to find a job. I was constantly worried that I may go to the job center and apply for a job and I would not be able to do the job I would love to do, because there are lots of jobs out there, but not all jobs I would like to do. There are many jobs that I hate doing, and and at some stage I was on job seekers allowance. I was taking benefits from the government, and it made me feel so small. It made me feel completely worthless to be on government, to be not working, unemployed, living on benefits. I wanted to work. I was a hard-working man. I didn't want to sit and do nothing about my life and just like let depression and fear and anxiety take the better of me. Let me sit to continue my conversation. So I definitely didn't want to accept the reality I was living, because it wasn't a reality I was happy with. So another thing I want to talk about in this video is storytelling. And what do I mean by storytelling? What I really mean by storytelling, you'd be quite intelligent if you guess what's the exact meaning I mean by this when I say storytelling. Self-storytelling, the story you tell to yourself. Positive stories, negative stories. Positive conversations, negative conversations. Positive friends, negative friends. Positive circumstances, negative circumstances. So storytelling is the story you tell yourself. We all have a story in our lives. What we've been through, what some people did to us, what the kids at school did to me, what my parents told us since we were younger, what the job center told us. So all this kind of circumstances and all these different circumstances and situations you go through is what shapes a story. You've got a story based on a certain amount of circumstances and situations you've been through, and it shaped the story in your mind. So you think that sorry, I just go blank and I can't even get my words out right. I feel so relaxed and so calm and relaxed, but I'm just trying to thinking of the right words to articulate. Yeah, this story, when someone was saying to me, "Oh, come on, you can't do that. This job is not for you. You're worthless. You're never gonna achieve that." They're not saying it in that rude way, that I'm worthless and I'm never gonna achieve it. They're not saying in that rude way, but there is representation of what they say shows these things I've just said now, which I've said that are rude. Like when they give you that blank expression on their faces and they say, "Oh, you're never gonna achieve that. Come on, this is not for you. It's never gonna work out in the end. No matter, don't try. Come on. It's never gonna achieve your dreams." When they say these things, it's story making. They're selling you their story. They're selling you a story, and it's up to you. You could get the story, accept it and live with it and get influenced by what other people think about you, or you can completely get rid of the story. You get rid of the story, you create your own story. You don't accept other people telling you their stories. I have a story myself, a negative story, and I try to sell it to lots of people. I try to sell my story to lots of different people who were very positive, who were very determined. They were absolutely hungry and striving for personal development and improvement. They wanted to become better people in life. And I was selling them a negative story. I've been that person myself at some stage. I was saying to them, "Oh, you can't do that. Come on, this is rubbish. It's never gonna work out. You can't achieve that. This is impossible. No way. No matter how hard you try, you're never gonna achieve it." Saying to these people, always trying to give them negative affirmations, always trying to be me is the main source of their negative affirmations coming from which which is me. I'm the main source of this. I'm the main source of all this negative, horrible kind of affirmations. Because storytelling is not about when you want to tell someone a story. You've got to speak according to the story you have with yourself. So you can't expect to start saying other stories that are not linked to you in any way, and you haven't got enough reference points and feedback between you and the story of the other person's relating it to you. So there's no point in doing that. Well, let's get to the conclusion that says that there's no point me wanting to force a story on someone else, or someone else coming forcing their stories on us, because that doesn't make sense at all. It makes complete sense, because when we do these things like forcing the story on someone, it's like we're forcing them bad beliefs, bad emotions. It's more likely they're gonna be through some tragic circumstances, and they're not gonna know who they are. They're gonna be very angry, enraged by the story we sold them, because that's how storytelling is, and that's how powerful it is. A story you have in your mind, it's a story about yourself. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. Is this okay? So let me now stop with the storytelling and switch off. Start talking about it's important to be surrounded by positive people. Do your best, do whatever it takes to just surround yourself with positive people. Don't go and surround yourself with negative people who are gonna give you their negative stories. They may start forcing it all on you. Don't listen to that, absolutely. If you really want to change your life around, you really want to make a difference. Let me sit right. If you really want to make a difference in people's lives, and you want to improve, you've got to get rid of every negative person who's trying to selling you a negative story. They're saying to you, oh, it's never gonna work out, or this job, you're never gonna have this job. Oh, going to Ausbildung, yeah, making this amount of money, or things are never gonna work out that way. So when you just talk to these people, yeah, you basically have to be polite, of course, but just try to dissolve them out of your life, not in a rude manner, in a very, in actually a very polite way. Just say to these people that we're gonna establish a positive social circle that are capable of interchangeably supporting each other without having the negative social circle, which we have to get rid of it completely. So guys, I talked about many different things, and I explained in depth now what is the difference between a negative social circle and a positive social circle. And when you are at your early stages of improving,
Hello.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Your partner here in the room is sleeping. Please